Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our first State of SBN annual report. We wanted to make sure that we kept all of you who have been following SBN and who are members of our organization abreast of the things that we have done over the past year and the progress that we want to continue to make and the strides that we need your help in order to achieve. I am the president of the Society for Black Neuropsychology, Dr. Courtney Ray, and it is my pleasure to be at your service as we try to make sure that this organization serves the needs of our trainees, our early career professionals, mid-career professionals, and late career professionals, as well as the wider Black community. We want to be able to advance the information and psychoeducation about neuropsychology in underserved populations. And we want to remind you that we welcome into our membership anyone who is aligned with the goals of making sure that culturally competent care is accessible to all people in our communities. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of SBN. Today, we want to start off by just letting you know some of the things that we have done. You all have been with us for this past year, and there have been a number of different things that have happened. And it has been both challenging and rewarding to see how far SBN has come thus far. Just to give you our agenda for this evening, I'll just be doing a small recap of some of the things that we have done. The financial report will be given by our treasurer. We will have a membership update by our executive secretary. We'll be talking also about our outreach and advocacy efforts. And we will also talk about our membership, education, and training efforts as well. So we have a lot that we want to be able to give to our members and to help serve you in continuing education. And also we have a research update by a research director. And then we want to provide a vision for what we will continue to do. This is just the start, and we need your help to do it. We're going to open it up for questions and answers. If anybody has anything that comes up during the time that you're watching this, please feel free to write it in the chat, and we will seek to answer those questions that you might have. But we have done many things. We started off by making sure that this past year, as times changed and we had to roll with the punches of being all virtual, that we took full advantage of that. And so we had a lot of webinars and trainings that we were able to do online that I feel were beneficial to many of the people who were able to attend. One of the things that we did initially was our response to COVID was sort of our first big webinar that the executive members of the team of SBN actually put on. And we talked about the neuropsychological impacts of COVID and research directions that we should be taking into consideration, particularly as it pertains to the implications of how COVID can impact the Black community. We also, once the tragedy of George Floyd's murder happened and we had international eyes on the subject of race and police brutality, we had healing circles for our trainees and for the people who were in our various institutions who felt like they needed a place to talk about their experiences. And we wanted to make sure that we did that in a way that took into consideration the needs that were emotional when talking to our professional trainees, because we can't just talk about doing this work professionally without talking about how it also impacts us. We did a Taquitos de Sesos talk as well, where we were able to join together and make sure that we were collaborating and making good collaborations with many of our sister organizations and talking about some of these very important issues and how neuropsychology in the Black community is super important. And we have been able to forge great relationships with HSNs, which is the Hispanic Society for Neuropsychology, as well as ANA. which is the Asian Neuropsychological Association, as well as some of the other organizations that are not necessarily those that have special interests, but the ones that you might yourself be familiar with as a member, like INS and NAN and even APA. So we've done a lot of different things where we have reached out, built collaborations, and tried to make sure that our impact was as effective as possible to make sure that we are doing those things that we can to help advance the causes of neuropsych in our community and help give people the chance to grow as neuropsychologists. So we want to continue doing that in the upcoming year. That is a little bit of what we've done this past year. And we'll talk more about some of our accomplishments and give you a little more detail about some of the present things that we're doing, as well as some of our future directions in the next year upcoming. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our treasurer, Dr. Will McBride, who will give you a little bit of insight into our financial picture. And Dr. McBride, I think you are muted.
There we go. Always some technical difficulties. Thank you, Dr. Ray. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and being here to take the time to see how this organization has been doing. Again, my name is Will McBride. I'm the treasurer for SBN. So some of the things that I want to share with you briefly is that we have our 501c3 status, or our nonprofit status, which is a great accomplishment, something that we worked really hard towards. We have been working towards building up the finances and building up a little stash of money to be able to support organizations or support the endeavors that we have or that we're trying to plan. So one of the things that we're always looking for is donations from other organizations or from corporations or different things like that. So that's something that we're going to be working on. We're also going to be writing grants to get more funding to give scholarships to students for applying to graduate school. That's one of the big barriers for a lot of students, is applying to a lot of these graduate programs. So we want to be able to help supplement the costs. We also want to be able to send students to conferences. And so that is something that we're going to be working on, and we're really excited about those things. And again, also sponsorship. So those are some of the things that we have coming down the pipeline. We are steadily getting new members every month. So if you are not a member yet, please sign up. It's free, but we want people to donate what they feel is what SBN membership is worth. And so we're always looking for new members, people to join our ranks, join our organization. And I think Kendra is going to talk a little bit more about how many members we have, but we're always looking for that. So again, we want to be able to provide things for the students, for faculty, for people who are in the organization, through our donations, our grants, and our sponsorships, so that they don't have to worry about those things, so that students and members can focus on just enjoying the fruits of what SBN has to offer.
Thank you so much, Dr. McBride. At this time, we want to just reemphasize that 501c3 status means that we are a nonprofit. So if you decide to donate to us, then that means that your donation is tax deductible. So please, by all means, give as much as you are able to in order to help us to do some of the initiatives that you'll hear a little bit more about later on. At this time, I'm going to ask our Executive Secretary, Dr. Kendra Anderson, to give us some information about our membership right now, both on social media and also those paid members.
Thank you, Dr. Ray. Absolutely. So again, thank you so much for joining us as we kind of update you about what we've been doing and seek your feedback and suggestions on how to continue to grow our SBN community. So as of today, we have about 115 members. Again, as both Dr. Ray and Dr. McBride mentioned, our membership to join the membership fee, it's no cost to join us, but there is a suggested price as you can pay what you feel is what you're capable or what you're able to pay. So we have 115 members, and our member body is heavily leaned towards students, which we're extremely excited about, as one of our main initiatives was to address the pipeline of individuals who identify as Black into the field of neuropsychology. So out of our 115 members, approximately 65.3% identify as students and trainees. That includes postdoctoral fellows. About 18%, so 17.9%, identify as early career professionals, and 8% identify as both 8% mid-career professionals and 8% advanced career professionals. So we're definitely looking to expand our organization and attract more early career, advanced, and mid-career professionals into the organization. On our listserv, we have 182 subscribers. And for our social media, Twitter, it seems like our Twitter is our most active source of social media engagement. We have about 1,900 followers, and our Facebook group has grown to 474 group members. So if you are interested in getting more involved in SBN, if you're interested to know more about what we're doing, please, subscribe to our listserv, follow us on Twitter, follow or join our Facebook group, and we'd love to have you as a part of our growing SBN community.
Absolutely. And if you want to become a subscriber, you can always send an email to us. Our email is soblackneuro@gmail.com, and we will make sure that you will be added to the listserv post haste. And of course, you all know already how to subscribe and follow both on Twitter and on Facebook. And we want to, again, let you know that we are open to anyone who is aligned with the goals of SBN. And we don't want finances to be a barrier to anyone, because we understand that many of our students might have some challenges. So we don't want anyone to break their bank in terms of trying to become a member, but we do have a suggested amount again, and those are on our website as well. At this time, we're going to talk a little bit about the outreach. So we've talked about members. So the members that we have are the people who are within our professional community. We also have associate members that are able to join, but the vast majority, as Dr. Anderson said, are of our professional community, whereas we are very focused on making sure that we build up the professional pipeline. We also want to make sure that we do as much as we can to outreach to the community and to make sure that our voices are heard as a collective of professionals, and telling people who are policymakers and legislators and other people who can really affect change in the ways that these policies are built around structural institutions, to try to make sure that these things are equitable and fair for each community, including the Black community. And so, as I alluded to earlier, one of the first things that we did in SBN was make sure that our voices were heard regarding COVID-19. And so we created a statement that we sent to the Congressional Black Caucus, and we've made some connections there with that legislative body in order to help make sure that mental health and psychology are a focus of what needs to happen in terms of research and directed attention as we try to deal with the COVID-19 crisis. I know that everybody's very fatigued by COVID-19 and everybody thinks that it's over, but it's not over quite yet, unfortunately. And so we talked to not only the Congressional Black Caucus, but also the COVID-19 Task Force. At that time, it was a different administration, but as things continue to progress with this new administration, we hope also to be able to have a voice with them to try to help let them know what are some things that are really important to pinpoint as we're looking at people's physical health and the effects that COVID might have on them. Also, their neurological health and their psychological health are important as well. We also crafted a statement after George Floyd's murder, addressing not only George Floyd, but the unjust murders of many Black people throughout the community. Last year, we had so many individuals who were unjustly killed. Ahmaud Arbery was one, Breonna Taylor is another, and there are so many people whose names we need to continually make sure that we fight for their justice and equity for all. And so we put out a statement not only addressing police brutality, but also calling for other people who are allies and people in our professional community to recognize how that trauma can affect people in the Black community. And in dealing with trainees and other professionals and other people in the community, those who are not necessarily those who identify as Black should take a stance of empathy and take a stance of allyship with our community and helping the individuals within the community to navigate these very emotional and tumultuous times, and calling for training for our professional organizations and directors of clinical training as well, to be very mindful of the way that this impacts their students, trainees, and coworkers who are dealing with the effects of this trauma that they are exposed to. We also put out a joint statement with the Asian Neuropsychological Association and the Hispanic Neuropsychological Society, making sure that we don't just talk about the way that we are impacted as a Black community, but also the way that other minority communities are impacted by violence. And as we know, there have been so many incidences of race-based hate directed to the Asian community, and we wanted to make sure that the Asian community understood that SBN, though we are a Black organization, we care about all people and make sure that those who are our allies know that we are there to support them as well. So we have stood behind them and we have made our voice heard in that dynamic as well, letting it be known that we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in the Asian community. We also have made sure that we are trying to have our voices be known with education and the way that young Black people are given the opportunity to give and have their opportunity to get things that will help them in their education. So HB 3435 is also a bill that we have signed on and advocated for in conjunction with various other institutions, saying that we want to help to boost and encourage that pipeline for Black young people. And the last thing that we did was we have joined together with various other organizations that talked about the death penalty, making sure that people who are minors and whose brain development isn't necessarily fully developed, those individuals are protected from the harshest penalties in our country. And we talked about the idea that those people who are 18 and 19 also are still developing in their brain formation and brain development. And we spoke up in conjunction with the American Pediatric Association and various other organizations, NAN as well, making sure that we are putting up a united front in this, because Black and brown young people are the ones who are most affected by any type of laws or policies surrounding penal and justice and codes and institutions. So we want to make sure that if our people are being impacted, they are being impacted as fairly as possible, and that individuals who cannot be held culpable or should not be held culpable to the same standards as adults are not unduly sentenced to death. And so SBN has made sure that we have been a voice in these policies, in these bills, in these legislative ideas, because we want to make sure that people understand that our impact is not just limited to inside our small professional community, but how our community and our field affects all these other aspects of life. Those things need to be addressed, and we want to make sure that we continue to let our voices be known in those circumstances. We also have, again, wanted to make sure that our trainees and our professionals have the education and have the professional development opportunities that we can supply as much as possible. And I'm going to ask Dr. McBride to come again to talk to you a little bit about our mentorship program that we have launched just a little while ago, and he'll give you some progress and updates on that. And I'm so excited. This is one of the most exciting parts of what we've done this year.
Yes, absolutely. This is something that we have been very proud of and have been excited about doing. And so I have been working with one of our, student leaders, Annie Reyes, who has been integral in helping us to create this mentorship program. And so we rolled it out maybe about a month and a half ago. We got an outpouring of interest. Interestingly enough, we had more mentors than mentees. And so while that, we would love to have the equal number so that we can match them, we were able to offer mentees the opportunity to match up with somebody who met just about all of their trainee demographic needs. So someone who is in pediatrics or who does lifespan work or is early career. So we were able to really take our time to match them up for a really good fit. So this first inaugural class, I guess you could say, class of 2021, there were 36 mentee mentor pairings. In terms of those demographics, we had, which I was really excited to see, we had 30% of our mentees were undergraduate or post-baccalaureate. We had about 5% who were masters, 60% who were doctoral students, and 5% that were about our postdoctoral fellows. So that was very exciting, and I'm very excited about the undergraduates and post-bac who are not yet in doctoral programs, because that's where we really want to do a lot of our work in getting those people filter them into the doctoral programs. So that was really exciting. 77% female, and then 85% Black and 14% Latinx. So if you can see the picture here, this was from one of our first socials. I think we had about 15 or 16 people. It was a really good turnout. It was very genuine. It was very kind of go with the flow. We were just, we had our structure for maybe about 15 minutes, and then we just kind of delved into what do we want to see? What do you all want to see in terms of programming, in terms of mentorship, training goals? What is it that you feel like you need to successfully matriculate through this thing we call the field of neuropsychology? And so that was really awesome. I think, allotted maybe an hour. We went maybe to about an hour and 45 minutes just because people just wanted to stay and talk. And so it was really, really great to see. And we're just excited about what's coming down the pipeline with that. In terms of what we have coming up, we have some webinars already in place on talking about manuscript writing and doing some, extensive work on those things for those individuals. We're going to be checking in with our mentees and mentors to see how they're doing, to get their perspective, midway through. And we just hope that the relationships that are built will carry on, but that the people who are in the mentorship program now will become mentors, or mentees who are in the program now become mentors later on, and pass on that wisdom and learning that they have had to other people who are trying to make it through. So we're just really excited about that, and working really hard to make it better.
Awesome. That is great. And just like Dr. McBride talked about, making sure that the people who are mentees now do what they can to reach back and to help those who are coming behind them. We have had a tradition here that was begun this year of making sure that we honor those people who have gone before us and give them the opportunity to share their wisdom with us. One of the things that was launched in February, it was the brainchild of Dr. Anderson, was the Black Luminary series, and she was able to make sure that we talked to different people to get those who are in the field at trailblazers and have them be interviewed and talk to us or help us learn about their journey. And so we've had lots of different people who have also, in different capacities, helped us to learn more about their journeys, their training, and helping those of us who are early career as well as those who are trainees learn from their experiences. And so we've had a number of different webinars and trainings that have been awesome. And those trainings and webinars have been, are all archived actually on our YouTube page. So if you're watching this on YouTube, if you look at the playlist, you'll be able to see quite a number of those different webinars that we've done in the past. Dr. Anderson, you wanted to share just a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we absolutely wanted to give our contributors a shout out. This isn't an exhaustive list, you know, but we did want to thank everyone who have given their time and to come and speak to our membership body, and who have, you know, taken out the time to talk about their journey in the field of neuropsychology, as well as our people who we've collaborated with, like Angst and ANA, HNS. We were particularly excited about the launch of the Black Luminary series, which our videos for the Black Luminary series have gotten collectively over 1,000 views. So, and it's growing every day. So we hope to be able to produce more webinars and events that our membership, as well as the community at large, can that's relevant to them and that resonates with their journey in the field of neuropsychology too. So, you know, near the end of our presentation today, we have a link for a need survey where members and non-members, if you're not, can give us ideas and suggestions about the types of things, the types of webinars, the types of talks that most interest you, so that we can continue to provide, you know, education, training, and stories that matter most to you. So thank you so much for the support and all the wonderful feedback we got about the Black Luminary series. Thank you so much for all of our contributors. Again, we weren't able to list all the names and all the pictures here, but we did want to let you know that we are incredibly grateful for the support that we've received this year.
Absolutely. And just going through some of the different things that we have done, we had the making yourself marketable for. So I'm going to be reading this because I definitely don't want to miss anyone as they have contributed, because as Dr. Anderson said, there have been so many people who have been helpful in making sure that we're able to give training to our members. So we wanted to just give you a little bit of a shout out, let you know that we appreciate you and that your contributions have not gone unnoticed, and that we are definitely thankful for what you were able to do with us and helping us. So we have our Making Yourself Marketable for Psych Grad School. We had Dr. Octavio Santos, Dr. Desiree Bird, Dr. Pamela Banks. We had Leah, who is a grad student who was able to talk about her own experiences at BYU. And we also wanted to thank, for our preparing for internship interviews, we have individuals who came from various institutions, Dr. Stringer, Dr. Jamila Johnson, Dr. Bryman Williams, Salita Owens, Anichin Marcel, also who those two are, the last two are graduate students as well. We talked about our Luminary series. Obviously, our people who are our advisory committee were able to share with us and let us know about their journeys. So we had Dr. Mark Norman, Dr. Anthony Stringer, Dr. Natalie Kelly, Dr. Jennifer Manley, Dr. Monica Rivera-Mint. And then we also talked about what happens if you don't match for your for your internship and what to do for phase 2. And we did that in conjunction with ANTS. So again, this isn't just something that we are doing on our own, but we are making sure that we're collaborating with other people. We did that with various professionals who were able to give up their time and their resources. And we also wanted to give a shout out to particularly Dr. Greg Keelan, who was able to tell us a little bit about what happens with the match. And then, of course, Dr. Stephen Woods talked about being a peer reviewer for manuscripts and sharing his editing expertise. I think that I got everybody. If I missed someone, please write it in the comments, because I don't want anybody to charge it to my heart. Just charge it to my head, because like I said, there are so many people who have really helped us to make sure that this year was a great year. Speaking of collaborations, we are doing an upcoming collaboration with NAN and with ACN in June. This is going to be a CE that is a 6-hour workshop. You will have 6 CE credits at the end of it, and it's talking about heterogeneity within various cultural groups and how to best serve with cultural competency within various groups. So just because we talk about Asian communities, there are variations in that community. Hispanic communities are not monolithic. There are variations within that community, and Black communities are not monolithic. And so how do we address the various needs of different subgroups within these demographics and make sure that we are giving them the care that is needed? So mark your calendars now. June 25th of this year. It's a Friday. It's a 10-day, not 10 days, 10 hours. Sorry. It starts at 10 a.m. and it's 6 hours, not 10 days, but you will get 6 CE credits for it. And we hope that you will be able to get those credits. And if you are already a member of SBN, you get a discount for that CE workshop. So if you're not a member, become a member so you can take advantage of that discount. And if you are a member, this is a great perk of SBN membership. We also did another previous CE collaboration with our partners in HNS and ANA on cultural humility. That took place in March. It was a very successful CE webinar, and it got rave reviews. If you did not take advantage of that, make sure that you take advantage of this next CE workshop that we're doing. And so these are the types of things that we want to continue to provide for those people who are professionals, because we understand that getting CEs and continuing education, not just for licensure, but also for your own professional development, is super important. And so we want to do what we can to help facilitate that for all of the individuals who call themselves members of SBN and who want to make sure that they are becoming the best and most competent professionals and maintaining their high level of excellence that so many people within our membership have already achieved, and wanting to continue to be on the cutting edge. So we want to be facilitators of that. At this time, I'm going to see what we're going to look and talk about our research update. I'm going to have Dr. Valencia Montgomery come and talk to us a little bit about the research work that SBN is involved in. And you're on mute.
I'm muted. I found the unmute button. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited for this update tonight. We've had a very busy year. as a whole. But we've also been making some strides with research, and I just wanted to give a quick update of what's going on with that. We currently have a research project going on with one of our students in the lead, Erica Pugh, and it is a multicultural trainee research. She sent out, some of you may have seen the email floating around for, it's a survey-based online survey. So if you see it and you have time, please participate in it. So we're hoping to have that wrapped up soon. We've also been writing as a core group. We have written a couple of articles, one which we're currently revising to resubmit for publication, and another one that we are revising to submit at another journal for publication. So we're excited about those opportunities. And currently we are working on a COVID study that will be web-based survey that we're hoping to work with, again, our sister organizations, I call them sister organizations, but our other multicultural organizations, so that we make sure that we're capturing all the, I guess, people that were really impacted by COVID and who we know generally that health equity is a problem for. What else? I knew I was going to do this. Other than that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this summer for everyone to look out for the announcement. One of the scholarships that we have raised money for will be a dissertation scholarship, and it'll be one award of $500. And we'll be putting that information together to send out, and also recruiting people who would like to review those applications. And then another scholarship that we'll be sending out will actually be to help one student applying for internship with internship costs. So we are excited. We have a lot of things still coming up. As we get things accepted into journals, we will post it, send out a blurb about it. But please, if you're interested in doing research with SBN, contact myself or send an email to So Black Neuro with stating your interest. And we are looking for people that are really interested in collaborating on some important issues to our community. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we want to help support your research as well. So if you are a member of SBN and you have a research idea, we want to make sure that we're doing as much as we can to help you as in your research endeavors as well. I just had a little correction here that I wanted to make sure that I got in. Jeremy Grant also is one of the students, along with Leah Whitlow, who talked about making yourself marketable in clinical psychology grad programs. So I just wanted to make sure that I got that in. And also Pamela Dean from the SCN Advisory Committee, as well as Amelia Nelson Sheese, Dr. Stakina Butt, and Dr. Dwayne Beatty helped us with our postdoc match seminars as well. So just wanted to let you guys know that we appreciate everyone who has helped us along the way. And if I still missed somebody, remember, this is not because I didn't want to recall you or that you weren't valuable, but we just have so many people who have helped us so much. And we thank you. As we continue to look towards the future, what are the things that we want to do? Number one, we want to make sure that we are providing the types of valuable resources that are important to you as a member of SBN. And so I've already mentioned a few of our upcoming events that were going to be happening. The CE that's coming up in June. We intend, if we are going to reach out and have an actual in-person opportunity to come together in the next INS, we want to make sure that we have a social together to meet, because some of us actually have never met in person before. It's kind of crazy. But even if we don't get an opportunity to have an INS where we are all together, we want to also have something social where we can gather together as an SBN community and meet together in a forum that's not as formal. We also are looking towards doing our own conference. This is something that has been spoken about amongst our executive committee before. We want to make sure that we will help all of the people who are trying to get into research and get their ideas out there. We want to facilitate that for you so that you can have a place to share your ideas. We want to continue with training people so that all of the people who are doing such great work have the knowledge of how to get your publications into these journals and how to make sure that your ideas are spread in a way that contributes to the entire scientific community. We want to expand SBN's reach not only to where we are here in North America, which is where the bulk of our membership is, but we also are trying to build bridges with people in other nations. And so we have made connections with people in Britain as well, our counterparts there. We also are doing some work in various African countries, or we're trying to begin to do some work there in the Congo specifically, and also South Africa. So we want to try to make those inroads there. And we want to continue to make inroads in the communities here in America. So helping high school students to learn more about our career, and so that they'll be able to come to a knowledge of what neuropsych is, hopefully fall in love with it and want to make it their career too. And so we are so excited to bring SBN into these places where we can really make an impact in these communities. We also are on we have representation from SBN on the committee who is revising the Houston guidelines. And so that commission is meeting soon, and we want to make sure that the interests of our trainees and those who are going to be looking towards making sure that they become licensed, not only licensed, but boarded, are able to have their voices heard on some of the concerns that they might have and the requirements that are necessary. So we want to be advocates for our trainees as well. So we want to also help make sure that we are communicating with you in the best possible way. So we have lots of people who have joined us on Twitter and Facebook and on listserv, and we thank you, but we want to make sure that we're always giving you the information that you need, and it takes volunteers to do that. And so I know that our social media committee has been doing a lot of heavy lifting, and we're always looking for more people to join our team. So if you are interested in becoming a committee member, we are inviting you. Right now, we're going through the applications for individuals who said that they were interested in being part of the Mentorship, Education, and Training Committee, as well as people who are looking to be on the Communications Committee and people who are interested in being members at large. So we want to make sure that if you have a desire to be a part of this team, that you know that you are welcome to put your application in and to be a part of that. And lastly, we want to make sure that we are meeting your needs. We're trying to do all that we can to really fill in the gaps and meet those needs of our community in ways that may not have been thought about before or addressed before, but there are lots of things that we might not even recognize are needs in your specific area. And so if you are a member of SBN, or if you are desirous of becoming a member of SBN and you say, I really would wish that someone would address this, that SBN would be able to help me in this area, please let us know that, because if it is within our power to do so, we want to be able to make sure that we're helping all of the people who are our members to be able to get those things that they need. So the Future Direction Survey, the link is here on the screen. We'll also be putting that up on our Twitter and other social media so that you'll be able to click on that, take that survey. Your feedback is so valuable to us. We really, really want to make sure that we are addressing those needs that you have. And so on that note, your feedback and your questions are important to us. So at this time, we're going to ask if anyone has any questions. You could write it in the chat. You can let us know on Facebook, and we will let you guys give us your inquiries, and we'll try to answer those as best as we can. Our email address, if anything here, is something that you want to know a little bit more about, soblackneuro@gmail.com. Please do write us if there's something that you don't recall in order to join this chat right now. And then later on, you're like, oh, I have that question about this thing. I want to know a little bit more about this thing, but I didn't get a chance to ask my question at the webinar when it was live. Go ahead and make sure that you email us and contact us and let us know any inquiries that you might have. But right now, since we are live, if you're watching this live and you are on either YouTube or our Facebook page, please go ahead and write in the chat if you have any questions that you think are important for us to talk about or address. I see, excuse me, I see a couple of questions. Someone asked about the contact information. That question is right here. So our email address is right up here. If anybody has any other things that are pressing needs or thoughts, please do ask. Or if you have suggestions as well that you want to just share it with us right now, we want to encourage you to please do answer those questions in the survey. But if you have suggestions, even right now, that you want to share, please do that here in the chat. All right, I see some people saying no questions, but thanks for the updates. I see Jeremy. Jeremy, you got your shout out. You said, thank you for all of the efforts thus far. Excited for the future of SBN, and we're excited that you all are the future of SBN. Let's see, Yinka said, no question, but thanks for the update. SBN was doing more than I was aware of. Much appreciated. And we hope that now that you guys are aware, that you will want to be a part of SBN and in the committees, not just as members, and helping us to achieve some of these things. And we want to make sure that as we are serving, that we are really taking into consideration all those things that are necessary in various aspects. So whether you're a student or a trainee, or if you are early, mid, or late career, we want to have something that really is helpful for you wherever you are.
Yes, and I also wanted to thank everyone who's already submitted their applications to be a part of our board and our committees. We got approximately 25 applications, which is phenomenal. We've reviewed all of those, and we're hoping to send out, letters to those who we would like to invite to be a part of our board and a part of our committees to grow SBN. We're hoping to send those out by the end of the week. So we are incredibly excited to build the team. Everyone who submitted their applications seemed like they're equally excited about not only contributing to the mission, but also, growing our social justice and advocacy efforts, as well as our mentorship, education, and training efforts. So again, thank you to everyone who submitted. We'll be in touch soon. And if you did not get a chance to submit an application, or if you're interested in serving in other capacities, please don't hesitate to reach out to us by emailing us at soblackneuro@gmail.com so we can see how to get you integrated in our community.
Well, if there aren't any questions at this time, we'll go ahead and close out. But again, like we said, if you have anything that you want to share with us, please don't hesitate to let us know. We thank you so much for your time, for watching our first State of SBN, and we hope that next year we'll be able to have even more things that we can share that SBN has done, and more of you who will be here on the screen because you have decided to be a part of our committees as well. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.